everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Be the Flame, where fire and magic meet. I am your host, Amy Barilla. I hope this finds all of you healthy, wealthy, and wise. As you know, at the beginning of each episode, we activate this divine, sacred healing space with a collective mantra. I believe so strongly in the power of words and affirmations because they can not only shift our energy and vibration, it can activate our state of power and being. So when you're all ready, I'd like you to take a moment and ground and center yourself. Please close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart, and that beat coming out of the center of your chest, that is your life force energy, your divine spark and soul purpose. And when you're ready, recite the following after me. Always I rise. Take a nice deep breath, inhalation through the nose, exhalation out through the mouth, and you can open your eyes again. Our space has now been activated. Today we have an amazing, wonderful guest, Heather McKay, also known as Healer Heather. She is an intuitive energy healer. Okay, so Heather, I am so excited to have you as a guest today. Thank you for sharing this sacred space with all of us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really, really deeply honored to be here.
I'm so honored as well. And I want to give a little backstory to everyone on how Heather and I met, because our journey did not start recently. It actually started 13 years ago, right? Yeah. When we were just two young babes in arms, right?
Yeah.
And Heather, who's an amazing body worker and massage therapist, I was actually on your table receiving care. And through the course of our conversation, I said, I'd really like to find a space where I could kickstart and activate my Reiki practice. And I wanted it close to home. I was at the time living in the northwest part of Vegas. And you said, what?
I know this amazing chiropractor up where you are. And she is somebody I think you should really reach out to and see what's there.
Mm-hmm. And so I took your advice. I listened. And thank goodness I did, right? So I took your advice. Right? Touche. Yeah. I took your advice. I gave Shadi a call, Dr. Shadia Corey, Chiropractic for Life, and the rest is history.
Yes.
And her and I set up a meeting, and we clicked and connected. And 13 years later, Shadia and I are still working side by side, working on healing nervous systems and big feels for kids and mama bears and families around the valley. And I do believe that you were an instrumental force. You were a catalyst and what I like to say a divine spark in that happening, because that magic is so synergistic. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, I want to thank you.
You're welcome. There's a part of me that almost feels like I shouldn't take ownership of that, because the message to connect you really came from a higher place, or, came from spirit. It was an image of you two together that kept coming up when I was touching you and working with you. And I thought, well, I don't know, but they should at least talk to each other.
Right.
And you even still like each other after all this time,
right?
Which is really pretty, also profound.
Good Lord. Yeah. We still can tolerate one another, and we have a lot of fun. And as we always like to say, if you're not having fun on what you claim to call your passion, then you need to find something else to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because you spend a lot of time doing what you're doing. And my auntie used to say, you better have a good line of work that you love that feeds your soul, or you better have a passion that like a hobby.
Yes.
Because you're going to spend all your time doing one or the other, and you want your life to be filled with that good energy.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree with you more. Well said. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer to have you on today.
Thank you.
So let's talk. Yeah, let's talk a little bit on all the things in your toolbox, because I know you are an amazing massage therapist and body worker.
Thank you.
But what else are you?
Well, I just finished getting my, about 5 years ago, I got my degree in acupuncture and oriental medicine, which in this country, like if you were in China, you would learn just acupuncture or just herbs or just what's called moxibustion. And in America, anybody who does acupuncture has to learn all of those things.
Wow.
Plus, we learn a tremendous amount of nutrition. And because what a lot of people think about Oriental medicine is, oh, that's acupuncture. Acupuncture is about 10% of what Oriental medicine is.
Wow.
It's a profound piece. But the Chinese, all of that area of the world, and India with Ayurvedic medicine, the belief is really that what we put in our bodies is, what we're made of. That's what the cells, are made of.
Right.
So the diet, the herbs, the plants, which is what herbs are. Nowadays we have essential oils. And if, you want to go into like the quantum physics element of it, there's also what we tell ourselves. But all of that medicine is believed to be part of the Chinese Oriental medicine purview. Right. Acupuncture is kind of what helps get the energy moving. But you do it with Reiki.
Right.
And that's one of the things that is so fascinating to me about acupuncture. Massage is wonderful, but acupuncture allows you to go even deeper.
Deeper, right. And, we are both Reiki masters. Okay, so we both share that in our toolbox, so to speak. And even though we do certain things that are different with our clients, we are so similar, right?
We are a lot similar,
right? We're both intuitive, and when we're doing our work, whether you're doing body work or whether you're doing Reiki or whether you're doing acupuncture, we are tapping in with those divine gifts, and we're really allowing the body. As I always say, I always tell people, the minute we start working on a body, the body ultimately tells the story. Right?
Yes.
There's always a big reveal. And even when there's resistance, there is a reveal, because that's part of that journey for that individual as well. So I think that acupuncture and energy medicine and energy work is such a wonderful combination, right? And assisting a client or a patient in crisis, having trauma or anything body, mind, and spirit, that it's so wonderful that you said yes to that so that you can share those gifts with as many people as possible.
Thank you. It wasn't really saying yes. It was saying, okay, because I kept having people come in, going into massage. I went into chiropractic. I learned about, above, down, inside out healing. That's how it happens, whether it's Reiki, chiro, whatever, or massage. So I got that, and I started working with people, and people would come in with cancer and issues with weight, issues with infertility, issues that in the legal scope of massage, for example, legally, massage therapists aren't supposed to touch anyone with cancer. There's this belief that you're going to spread the cancer in the body.
Wow.
But from an energy perspective, an energy healer would say, oh my gosh, people with cancer are some of the people that need to be touched the most. Or at least be, you don't have to touch somebody, obviously, to work on energy.
Correct.
But what's interesting is in Western thought, we think of it differently. It's separate. In Eastern thought, I don't do energy healing, acupuncture, and massage. In Oriental thought, the belief is that if you are a master, you don't need the needle, you use your hands. So I came into acupuncture school and heard that and went, why am I even here?
Right.
And the reason I was there was to learn and to go to China and to understand some of the depths of the medicine. And I met some magical teachers. But what was hilarious to me is on my journey through school, many of my teachers stopped using needles and started doing Reiki. And would come to me for advice and come to me about how to do stuff. And it was, I used a tuning fork for years in my massage practice and Reiki practice. And I came into school and it was this new thing called acutonics. And you use a tuning fork. And I'm like, this is what I was doing before I could get needles.
Right.
So they're not separate to me. They are one and the same.
Right.
And what I love about having a big toolkit these days is that no matter what comes in across my threshold, whether it's a child or an adult or a woman with a baby inside, I've got anything I need to help them, and I can just let spirit tell me what they need, and it's a partnership, right?
It is a partnership.
So, if you came to me, it'd be like, okay, so what are you needing? What are you wanting? And then when I work on you, I also get those messages.
Right.
But this medicine, if you think about it, this is indigenous medicine to that part of the world. This is the same thing as we talk about medicine, like medicine men in Native America. It's just the Chinese wrote it down. So that's why it's been around and we know the things we know.
And you bring up a good point, because I want to segue into working in the pediatric realm, because as you know, and many of you know that are watching, my practice is predominantly children who are experiencing big emotions, big feels, coming in, having trauma and crisis, and using Reiki or energy work to help them break through so that they have more management of their emotions. In the world of acupuncture, what are you seeing in children?
Tremendous amount of stimulation.
Okay, so overstimulated.
Super overstimulated. And also, the language skills for kids is different. So when you do energy work, a lot of us sensitive people kind of pick up on those things with kids.
Right.
Sometimes parents don't. If they're busy, if, the people around a child, they may be giving that signal. Because that's another thing about Asian medicine is the observation is from the moment they walk in the door. So we look at, their what we call their Shen. The Shen is the spirit.
Yeah.
And so you'll hear when I was in school, and I also did an apprenticeship alongside school. So I, in school, learned Chinese medicine, and then I apprenticed with an 83-year-old woman who only does a certain type of Japanese acupuncture. And now I'm one of 27 people in the world that do it. But she does the Japanese type. But all of it, every one of the teachers I've had says, you give good treatment, the Shen is lifted. The Shen is up. In other words, if you are doing a proper treatment, no matter what you're using, the point of it is to lift the spirit. Because whatever we have going on with our body, at the very deepest level, is really just a reflection of what's happening with our spirit.
And that's so powerful. I want to, number one, thank you for sharing all that, because it triggers in my mind something that I feel is very important as a healing arts practitioner, is that, we're all the same, but we're not. Okay.
Yes.
And when you're hanging a shingle and you're making a decision to work on the public at large, or if you're forming your niche,
Yes.
you have to have that oath that you hold up every single time.
For sure.
That child, that family, that patient walks through your door.
Yes.
That's your calling card, right? That person is going to reemerge back out into the world. And that's what's going to be a driving force to have more of the same come back and return to you. So I'm so glad you shared that, because even if you're watching this today and you aren't in the healing arts profession, but you're someone who's thinking about tapping into alternative modalities for healing and wellness, I think that's very important, right? That's your calling card. That's your integrity. That's your authenticity.
All of those things.
Right?
All of those things.
And there's a lot of flakes out there.
There are a lot
I hate
of
to
flakes
say
out
that,
there.
but that's the reality of the nature of the beast or the business that we're in. We see that in all industries, do we not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think you have to, it's like, is this person working for me or not? If you're going to a practitioner,
right?
Are you feeling better?
Yeah.
Is your life improving?
But do they get me?
Yeah.
That's an important part that I think people miss the mark on. I want you to be able to identify, with the connection that we have, because that's very deep.
For sure.
And if that's not there, you need to hit the bricks and move on.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds harsh, but I think when people are paying money, and you and I have spent so much time and resources to hone our skills and be who we are in this moment and the journey that we've taken from point A to point B to where we are now, I think that there's a lot of merit to that, and that needs to be said.
Oh, for sure. And let me tell you, when you take it to the level where you're putting little tiny needles in people,
right,
you're talking about an intimacy that they only share usually with their lover. And same with massage in many ways, because the person's naked, they're laying down, they're defenseless.
Yeah.
Creating a safe place when I teach massage and other things, that is the most important thing. When I teach Reiki, anything, you don't feel safe, you're in the wrong place.
Right. Hit the bricks. Right. I know.
Totally.
I get fired up about that.
Yeah.
But there's a level of vulnerability that gets exposed. And,
Totally.
and if you want to heal, whether it's through energy work, body work, acupuncture, Oriental medicine,
yes,
there is that level of vulnerability that has to take place in order for that part of you to crack wide open.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. I think there's also a lot to be said, and, we can talk about this later if you want to, or more in depth, but one of the things I really like to do is try to help people treat themselves, because a lot of people are afraid to walk through that door and trust someone else in a way that leaves them vulnerable, especially if they've been abused or have had trauma.
Yeah,
and
PTSD.
so sometimes, you know, I've had people, I had a woman long time ago who was a patient of mine, and she was very heavy and had a lot of issues about that. And she came to me, and all of a sudden I was seeing all these heavy women coming to me because she had all these friends that were afraid to go to anyone because they were so large.
They didn't feel safe.
And she had one friend that she kept saying, oh, she needs massage. Oh, she needs massage. I said, she'll come when she's ready. I would meet her and run into her. I gave her little tips and tricks. Okay. And after 5 years, she called me up and said, I think I'm ready now. But she had done the things I'd helped, you know, I just given her little plant, like what I did with you and Shadia. I just planted a little seed.
Yeah.
And so I do encourage people to do that too. And, you know, I brought toys today to play with if you want to learn how to do self-treatment. Because even if we're coming, you know, even if someone's coming to you or me, I always encourage people to do homework in between so that their healing is more profound and more
There's
rapid.
homework on this podcast.
Oh,
all right.
beautiful.
So every time we gather here, you know, their feet to the fire is what they're going to walk away with. I'm holding them accountable because if we're not giving our patients and our clients accountability, I don't feel we're doing our job to the best of our ability.
It's how we empower them.
It's how we empower them. It's how we activate them. That is the intent anyway.
Yes.
That we are that divine spark of activation in that individual's life. So thank you for saying that. And I want to touch a little bit. You have this wonderful table and assortment of magical divine healing tools.
Lots of magic
right?
today.
And we would need like 3 or 4 episodes to go through all of it. But what I wanted to focus on today and zero in on is the tuning fork.
Oh, you like the tuning fork?
I love the tuning fork.
Okay.
And one of the things I asked you earlier today is that tuned to Om? And you said yes. So I would love if you could take a minute or two and just kind of go in and give us a little bit of a demo and educate us on the power of tuning forks.
Here, and I'm going to give this to you.
Okay, thank you.
And the reason I use Om is because it works for everyone. Kids, adults, dogs, cats, whales.
So it's universal.
Everybody likes it.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what I want to do today, and for all of you at home that have a tuning fork, get out your tuning fork. So what you're going to do is just strike the hockey puck, and you're going to place the tuning fork at the top of your head, the very center of the top of your head. This point's called Bai Hui. It's 100 meetings point, and it means all of the channels of the body in acupuncture meet at this one point. It also, I'm going to have you place the rose quartz where you have the tuning fork and strike the tuning fork again, and then place it on top of the rose quartz. And so what this is doing, how does that feel?
That's stronger, more amplified.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that's purpose, I would assume.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's amplified, and it also spreads deeper into the body.
Wow.
That point connects us with our ancestral knowledge. It lifts our spirit. I could go on for days and days about all the things that it does, but if you only have one point and a tuning fork, try this out because it helps lift your entire Shen, your spirit.
Wow.
Okay. And that is the foundation of everything.
Isn't it? Oh.
Yeah. So since you haven't made it in a while, we haven't seen each other. I wanted to give you a gift of being able to treat yourself because I know you have rose quartz. I'm sure you have a tuning fork. And a lot of you at home probably do too. And this is one of the ways that I do treat children because children are a little afraid of needles and they love crystals. Most kids love crystals. And
I have yet to meet a child who doesn't like rocks and crystals.
I'll use whales, crystals, and different things to press points.
Sure.
But the tuning fork spreads to a depth in the body that, in my opinion, is even deeper than a needle.
Beautiful.
And so, you don't have to be an acupuncturist to do Oriental medicine.
Yeah.
You just have to be, and you can use your finger too. And I have a needle in here. The needles are so tiny that you can flick it and see how tiny that needle is.
Yeah.
So they're very. There's so many ways, but if you just want to stimulate yourself, you can. And that one point will lift.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of ways to take care of yourself.
Hey,
this is a good one.
Yeah.
This is a good one. And if you have a tuning fork, kids love this.
Yeah.
They love it. And you can also strike the fork and put it near their ear, and they're like,
Yeah,
but it gets them excited, and it brings them into the medicine in a way that we can all work with it ourselves this way. It's not scary. Right. It's not threatening. I get why needles are a little scary for people. Sure. So you might notice I have one in the middle of my head. Right. This I also use with kids because it's just a tiny little, teeny weeny, tiny little needle, but it will help. This is a sedation point.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that education.
Yes.
You know, I saw you set up your table before we started rolling today, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. Is it Om? So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your gifts and your knowledge with our audience today. That means so much. And
it's a joy. It's really a joy.
Yeah, thank you. And so I would like to now ask you if you would mind sharing how people can get in contact with you.
Oh, sure. My Instagram is Healer Heather Hawaii. My website is www.healerheather.com. And those are the best ways to get a hold of me. I do have a tendency to go underground for a little while once in a while. So if people don't hear from me right away, I try to get back to them because I am kind of traveling around 3 different states at the moment. So
okay, well, thank you for that. Yeah, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you on all levels.
Oh, I love you, honey.
All dimensions of time, space, planes of existence. So thank you.
You're welcome. I mean, at the heart of it all, you said, please come and talk about acupuncture and energy.
Yeah.
And what we're really talking about is quantum physics or quantum healing, you know, and that's it. Like, it doesn't get any deeper than that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
And so it is. We're at our favorite part, or my favorite part of each episode, which is moving into the Crystal Wisdom Corner and our collective card read for the week. So I have selected, or actually I should give credit to Randy because she selected this today. She was my helper on this. I felt that because of the topic that Heather and I are sharing today, that Lemurian blue calcite was perfect for our activated sacred healing space. Now, this is a very cool piece of Lemurian blue calcite. And in reading up on its wisdom in medicine, I felt it was appropriate for the topic that Heather and I were sharing today because it's all about emotional intelligence, right? And when we're dealing with energy work or we're dealing with acupuncture, we're addressing body, mind, and spirit.
Absolutely.
And so if the body's okay, but the mind and spirit are imbalanced, then it's going to have a domino effect. Would you not agree?
Oh, for sure.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So our stone for the week, blue Lemurian calcite or Lemurian blue calcite, however you want to say. And it's great for emotional intelligence, right?
It's beautiful too. Can I just hold it for
Yeah, you sure can. Let it love on it and let its medicine and wisdom, merge with yours. But now we're going to move into our collective card read. And the card that we choose each episode always seems to be spot on and appropriate for the topic at hand. So the deck has already been shuffled. The card has already been selected. But I would like to ask my friend if she would read the card for everyone.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so here's is this the mantra for the day?
So this is our upcoming card read, the collective card read for the week.
The collective card read is just for today. Let it be and lovingly get out of the way.
I love this card. I love this card, and I'm going to tell you why I love this card. Because we are in our own way so much of the time, right? During this human existence we're having.
Yes.
And what happens when we are in our own way, we dig our heels in, we have resistance that comes up, and we don't have clarity, we don't have good focus, and we're not able to get shit done,
True.
Right?
Yeah.
We all have shit to do every day. Am I not right? Okay. And so when we let things be and we lovingly get out of the way, that chi is able to restore in a more natural, fluid movement. Would you not agree? Right? And look, we all have situations in our life that we think we know better. We know how to fix someone, something, right? We can't fix ourselves most of the time, right? We're our own worst enemies, and we're very hypercritical and self-critical of situations that pertain to self.
For sure.
But when it comes to another, we're like an expert. We're like, we should have a Nobel Prize for our knowledge and depth on other people's stuff. But there are certain situations where we just have to let that shit be.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not for us to carry. Your stuff is not mine to carry. And it doesn't mean I love you any less. And it doesn't mean I can't hold space and have compassion. What I'm saying is I don't have the capacity to do that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you see that not only in your own life, but in the lives of the clients that you're treating.
Totally. And in Hawaii, there's actually a term in Hawaiian called kuleana. And so it's a very well-known thing. You know, if someone's like in somebody else's business or like a little too much like taking on, you know, an auntie and uncle will come by and remind you like, that's not your kuleana. You know, you can leave that to the side. And it's a good thing to remind people when they're on the table too.
It is. And it's hard when you're Italian because I'm Italian. And we're bred to be in your business, right? That's just part of who we are. So that comes with the territory. But over time, you see the ramifications of that. I've seen that in my own life. I see how it plays out in the lives of others. And so your collective card read, your feet to the fire, your homework, we talked about homework earlier,
it's good.
Right?
You got to have homework.
Is where in your life can you just let it be and lovingly get the hell out of the way? Right?
I like this homework.
Yeah, I know. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good medicine.
It's great medicine, Amy.
It's good medicine. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that with me.
Thanks for the card.
Yeah. I would love to share a couple of different ways that, you know, we shared how people could get a hold of you. This is how people can get a hold of me. My main website is amybarilla.com. I would also invite you to check out my Instagram page. My handle there is Amy Barilla Pediatrics. And as always, if you'd like to catch future episodes, past episodes of Be the Flame, I would love to send you to iTunes and Spotify and Podbean or wherever else you can catch a really great podcast. So I encourage you to check us out there too. Heather, my friend, thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing this sacred space with all of us today. I loved having you on as a guest. It's been too long, right?
Yeah.
Since we've had this opportunity to hang out and be together.
It's lovely.
Yes. And I mean, your talents are so amazing. And my wish for you as you go back out into the world is that you keep shining that divine light, that which is you, that which is true and pure and authentic, and keep imparting all your gifts, not only as an acupuncturist, but as an intuitive and as a healer, so that all those who need you will find you in divine time and order with ease and grace, so that you can continue to help those who are in trauma and crisis so that they can have that corner turning moment and you can be part of their healing journey. So for that is my gift and my wish for you.
I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you.
I love you.
I love you too. Yeah. And so you all have your homework for the upcoming week, all right? Just for today, let it be and lovingly get out of the way. And in the words of Glennon Doyle, we can do hard things, and we can still sizzle, and we can still shine, and we can still be an outlaw.
Yes,
right?
we can.
And we can still be sexy and beautiful and a badass. And my wish for you is that you continue to stay healthy, wealthy, and wise. And until we hang out again, have a magical week. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Aloha.